So each table of a verb in every tense has this kind of arrangement, 3 by 3 arrangement. Each row is called a Purusha. First row is called Prathama Purusha, second row Madhyama Purusha, third row Uttama Purusha. And each column represents a Vachanam. Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam. So arranged in 3 by 3 matrix or a set like this. So every row represents who is doing the action indicated by that verb, and the column indicates how many objects. It doesn't need to be necessarily people. It could be any object doing, how many are doing the work or the action of that verb. So that is represented by the column, like Vachanam. So the rows, the first one is called Prathama Purusha, second one is called Madhyama Purusha, third one is called Uttama Purusha. So Uttama Purusha line, the last line, right? So the last line of the last line here represents Uttama Purusha. The forms in this row, they represent the action if the doer of that action or the verb is the word aham, avam or vayam in respective vachanam. In the ekavachanam it should be aham, dvivachanam avam, bahuvachanam vayam. In Madhyama Purusha, the word represented by for the doer of the action should be tvam or ivam or yoyam. And any other word, if any other word is used to represent the doer of the action, then we must use the Prathama Purusha form, the forms which are in the first row, like patati, patata, patanti. And does the verb have a lingam, a gender?
No.
Verb doesn't have a gender. It is for any gender. Means the action could be performed by the word which could be in any gender. Word means a namapadam, a noun, which could be in any gender. For example, balakah patati, boy is reading. So balakah is pullinga shabdah, and balika patati. So balika is strilinga shabda. So for both of them we can use patati. Similarly, it could be napumsakalinga also. So some examples, we have been looking at them. So you did the homework here of converting this to converting the vachanam, ekavachanam to bahuvachanam, cha chalati, te chalanti, etc. Okay, so I guess there is no question here. So this is simple. Though we are not right now focusing greatly on the Madhyama Purusha form, which are shown in the table here, the words used for tvam, yuvam and yuyam, and also we are not that much focusing in the lessons on dvivachanam also, but still it would help when you're looking at the tables, if you can look at the table as a whole with all the purushas and all the vachanam. So all the forms, they kind of, you look at them, they stay with you. And also you can practice them if you want. Going to the next topic of verbs only, Kriyapadam. A Kriyapadam, the forms we saw, this form, this table, what is the tense for this? This is present tense, Vartamana Kala. So these forms are used in Vartamana Kala. The next one, which we will see, it is not a Kala actually, it is it is called a mood in English, but we will just call it Lakara. So in one of special classes we covered the Lakara. So this forms what we saw here so far. This is Lat Lakara, which represents Vartamana Kala. Now we will look at Lot Lakara, which is again useful for our Prayoga or usage. So the last one here, last 3x3 matrix, this table represents, the forms here are shown in Lot Lakara. Lot Lakara, and in the book we have here. Not properly written here, not showing. So Kriyapadani, Ajna, Prarthana, Ichha. In this sense, Lot Lakara is used. Lot Lakara forms are used to, in the sense of Ajna, Prarthana, Ichha. So the previous one, Lat Lakara, those forms are used when we want to use the verb in the Kriyapad, in the Vartamana Kala, or in the present tense. So a boy is going to school, a girl is going to market, a leaf is falling, Paranam Patati, Balakah Gachati, Chorayati, Chorayanti, Bhavachanam, etc. All they are present tense. The action is happening now. So whereas this Lot Lakara, so here if we want to order somebody about to do something, like so if you want to say go to the school, that is a request or the order, or we are praying somebody to do that action, or simply Ichha. Ichha means wish. We wish that the action is done by someone else, or maybe myself, maybe you, or maybe someone else. So in that sense, this Lot Lakara forms are used. So we'll start with some examples here. Vartamana Ekavachanam, Ajna, Prarthana, Ichha, Lot Lakara. Singular and plural. Okay. We now begin. Want to read it?
Kim Kim Kashantu.
Kim Karotu.
Yeah, sorry.
So in the Ekavachanam form, we are using Kim Karotu.
Kim Karotu.
Now, in the previous Vartamana Kala, what was the question there? We started with a question. Here. Kim Karoti, right? We started the question. here. The basic one was Kim Karoti. If you saw on the top here, Kim Karoti. Now Kim Karoti, we are asking what does he do, or what is he doing. In that sense, we are using Karoti form, which is a present tense form. But what should he do in that sense? In that, if you want to ask that question, then we use this karotu instead of karoti, tu. We are using tu at the end. This tu ending kriyapada forms we are using. Kim karotu. So this question we can like the question of Saha kim karoti is the question. So what does he do? Is the Saha kim karoti. Now if you want to ask what should he do, Saha kim karotu, that is what we can ask. Saha kim karotu. This is the question we can ask. Or sa kim karotu. Again, the kriyapadas do not change based on the lingam of the doer word. So saha kim karotu, sa kim karotu. Kim means what? Saha is who? Saha is that person. Karotu.
Bhavan.
So if we ask the question again here, Saha kim karotu, that is a singular. In Bahuvachanam, the form becomes kurvantu. Kurvantu. Karotu becomes kurvantu. What is the, and we have seen before, in Vartamana Kala, it is karoti. Karoti. And in Bahuvachanam, Vartamana Kala Ekavachanam karoti. And Bahuvachanam, what was the question?
Kurvanti. Kurvanti.
Kurvanti. So this is Saha kim karoti. And Vartamana Kala Bahuvachanam, Prashna, question was, Te kim kurvanti. Te is the Bahuvachanam of Saha. Saha is he, te is they. Te kim kurvanti. This was the question. Now we are converting this into lot lakara, means which represents ajna, which is order. Prarthana is the pray, and ichha is the wish. So karoti changes to the form karotu, and this kurvanti changes to the form kurvantu. So the question remains, Saha kim karotu, what should he do? And te kim kurvantu, what should they do? Note that this karotu or karoti, karoti belongs to, what is the purusha of karoti? Is it prathama purusha, madhyama purusha, or uttama purusha?
Prathama purusha.
Yeah. Prathama purusha. Where is prathama purusha? This is in prathama purusha. Who can be the doer, or what can be the doer word? Doer word. I will start calling it kartrupadam. Kartrupadam. Kartrupadam means the doer word, subject word in a sentence. So when we say Saha karoti, Saha is the doer. Saha is the kartrupadam, or the subject of the kriya, who is doing the work, who is doing the action. So in this prathama purusha, what are the possibilities of kartrupadam? When we use prathama purusha form,
he, she, it. So
In
saha,
Sanskrit, saha.
saha, ta, and te, not te. Te,
Yeah.
right?
So basically,
Everything other than aham and tvam.
exactly. Everything other than aham and tvam, or in the Dvachanam other than avam and yuam, Bahuvachanam other than vayam and yuam. Any other word, if it is a Kartrupadam, so then that is a possibility here. So it same applies with the lot lakara also, any lakara also. This is the same rule. So when this is a karoto is in the prathama purusha, like karoti. So what could be the kartrupadam here? It could be again anything other than aham and tvam here, because karotu is in the ekavachanam, prathama purusha ekavachanam. So it could be saha, balakaha, sa, balika, anything else, and including bhavan word also. In bhavan, though it means you, it means tvam, but because the word is not tvam, word is different than tvam, the same prathama purusha forms will apply here. So here, if you ask the question, what you should do, the question will be bhavan kim karotu. The answer sentence is given here, the example here. Bhavan pathatu. You should read. So this could be, when we say bhavan pathatu, the sense of saying this could be in any form, in any sense, like ajna. It could be we could be ordering the person, bhavan pathatu. You should read, or you must read, or we may be requesting the person, bhavan pathatu. Again, depending on the context and the connotation and the tone, etc., the meaning will change. The meaning is the connotation here. Whether it is a wish, whether it is a request, or whether it is order. So, bhavan pathatu, bhavan pathatu. So same thing in the Bahuvachanam, we have bhavantaha. Bhavan padasya Bahuvachana rupam asti bhavantaha. So bhavan, the plural form of that word is bhavantaha. So bhavantaha pathantu. So here similar to the karotu becomes kurvantu in Bahuvachanam. Pathatu becomes pathantu. This is a minor change. Like in Vartamana Kala, what we had pathati. And in Vartamana Kala Ekavachanam and Vartamana Kala Bahuvachanam, what we had pathanti. Right. So, in Ekavachanam, it becomes, in Lot Lakara, pathatu. We are asking you to read, or someone is asking you to read, bhavan pathatu. And if there are many of you, then it becomes bhavantaha. But the main thing, our study topic here is lot lakara. So the lot lakara form becomes pathantu here. In Vartamana Kala is pathanti. In lot lakara, it is pathantu. So this should be simple again to understand. The next example given here is balakaha pashyatu. Balakaha pashyatu. So pashyatu is the lot lakara form, and in the Vartamana Kala, what was the form for pashya? For looking, seeing or looking? Pashyati. Here instead of ti we are adding tu. That is the only change. Pashyati, pashyatu. Everything else remains same. And similarly here we are using let the boys play. It is actually kri here missing there. Up, not like that. It's a dirgha kri. Kridantu. Let the boys play. There are many boys. The Bahuvachanam has the Kridantu. In Ekavachana it is Kridanti. Instead of again ti, the last ti, we are adding tu here. So everywhere we are basically adding tu by removing ti. Everywhere means in Ekavachanam and Bahuvachanam or Prathama Purusha. In Prathama Purusha, if we took at Pashyatu, Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam, Prathama Purusha Bahuvachanam we have Pashyantu. Right. So this two we are changing it to no, I wanted to write Vartamana Kala. Pashyanti, Pashyati. So here we are replacing this T with tu for lot lakara. And here also actually Pashyanti means what? This Pashyanti, at the end there is na and ti, right? Pashyanti, just like ti in the Ekavachanam, Bahuvachanam also there is a ti at the end. But before that there is a nakara. So this we are not replacing in lot lakara, we are just replacing the last ti. So Pashyantu. So that is a change which is done here. Then we have sa chalatu. Any question?
Sorry, I have a question. So this lot lakara doesn't fall under any tense, is it?
Yeah, it is not a tense in the sense it doesn't indicate any kala
Okay.
or a time. And just a small, very quick recap that which we did in that Kriya Pada Parichaya special class, that there are 10 lakaras in Sanskritam. So in those 10 lakaras, some of them they indicate the kala or the time of the action, and some of them they do not indicate. So they are also called lakara, but English I think they are called modes or like an imperative mode, like that. Imperative mode. I think this is imperative mode in English. You do something, you look somewhere, like that. Okay, so the next chalatu, example is chalatu, sa chalatu, saha chalantu. So you should be remembering the bahuvachanam of sa, you are the doer, sa, saha. In the ekavachanam is chalatu, bahuvachanam chalantu. Similarly we have here bhavati dhavatu, ekavachanam, bhavatyaha dhavantu, bahuvachanam. In the strilingam. Again we have some exercises here. Some couple of them we can try here. Saha pibati. So what does it What is the meaning of Saha Pibati?
He drinks.
He drinks.
He drinks. So when we convert that into Lot Lakara, we want to request that he should, or we should order, we can order, he should drink. Saha Pibatu. Simple. Esha Sati. It becomes in the Lot Lakara, it becomes Esha Asatu. So now what is the meaning of this Esha Asatu?
Let her laugh.
Let her laugh. So in the top also, here in the Sanskrit form of the what to do with this exercise. So in English it is written, write the sentences per the example. So here write is also a request or the command, like that, right? So this is Sanskrit sentence is also in the Lot Lakara form. The Kriyapada is in the Lot Lakara form, this one. Okay. Likhatu. Vakyani likhatu. So likhatu, what to write? Vakyani, sentences. Write the sentences. So this one is Yatho Udaharanam. Yatho Udaharanam means example. Yatha Udaharanam. Like.
Can we take it? Please write the sentence also, is it?
The whole sentence?
Likhatu, can we just take it as please write?
Yeah, please write. So that is a request. Please is not spelled out. So likhatu, yathodaharanam likhatu. So likhatu, you are saying please. If you want to add please word also, we can add krupaya. It is not there, but based on the tone of how you say, it can be understood whether it is a please, whether it is just an order. But if you want to really add an additional word for please, we can add krupaya. Krupaya likhatu. Where it is jumping.
Mahodaya, one question.
Yeah.
So when we say likatu as agna or pradhana, so when we write krupaya likatu, does it become specifically pradhana kind of a move?
Yeah, I think so. But again, I mean, this is just my understand. So you may be like you may be just ordering, but saying that krupaya likhatu, like that. If somebody is not actually following the order or something, you might be sarcastically saying krupaya likhatu. Yeah, but generally when we use krupaya means please, we use like request, like it becomes specifically request.
Okay, thanks.
The examples here. Okay, now here there is a next page. There is some koshtaka tables which are given some, and these tables you can also find on the website here, which I think you know already. So you see here table of verb forms. Right? If you see here table of verb forms, though if you click that, it will open this table. This table which shows Dhatu in the first column, or its meaning in English in the second column, and Vartamana Kala, as you see on the top here. Prathama Purusha and Uttama Purusha forms are there. And in the column M, you see the Ajna Prarthana, this Lot Lakara form in the Prathama Purusha only is given, because Prathama Purusha Ekavachanam. And the other, like Uttama Purusha, etc., those can be found in other, from other sources, or based on what you have studied, you can also form them. Like, for example, Uttishthato becomes Uttishtantu, right? Tishtantu, Tishtantu, Tishtati. So, for example, here Uttishtati, Uttishtanti in the Vartamana Kala. And in Lot Lakara, we have Uttishtatu, same thing. Uttishtati turning it to Uttishtatu. And Bahuvachanam becomes Uttishtantu. Some of them are different. Some, like again.
Mahoday, we can't have, in Uttama Purusha, we can't have Lot Lakar, right? It is like ordering or doing ourselves, so it will not be applicable, correct?
It is applicable. For example, when we say the question again, if I repeat for everybody's understanding, that is a good question. So that this is sometimes so here you see Pathato, Patatam, Patanto, Tam Purusha. Sorry, Lot Lakara Koshtaka, or the table is there here. Pratama Purusha, Patato, Patatam, Patanto. Madhyama Purusha, obviously it makes sense. Patha, Patatam, Patata, you read. Uttama Purusha, Pathani, Patha, Patama. The forms are there. But what does it mean? So it means Aham Pathani, let me read. Okay? Like that. Aham Pathami means I will read. I read, or I am reading. But Aham Pathani means let me read.
Okay.
And many times this is useful in questions in our, and we use, actually at my home also we use this. Everybody, like for questions, it will be useful. Should I do this? Okay? In that sense also it is very useful. Should I do it? Aham khadani, should I eat? Like that. Aham pathani, should I read? Aham pathani kim, should I read? Or what should I read? Aham kim pathani, what should I read? Like that. If you read, you can also use Aham kim pathami, that is a general Vartamana Kala form. Aham kim pathami, what will I read in that Vartamana Kala form. But generally it is better to use this Lot Lakara form. Aham kim pathani, what should I read? Vayam kim pathama, what should we read? Okay, so I was talking about this. So most of the verbs you see here, if you look at the Vartamana Kala, Prathama Purusha, Ekavachanam and Bahuvachanam, column D and E. Let me a little bit make it bigger. So this is column D and E. If you see, like starting from column 7, Ni, column 7 here. So here they are all simple. Anayati, anayanti, apayati, apayanti, ichchati, icchanti, uttishtati, uttishtanti, upashiti, pushanti. No, not karoti. Krinati, no, not this one also. Like kridati, kridanti. But some of them, they look a little bit different, like karoti, kurvanti. So it is not karoti, karonti like that. It is not like this, not like kridati, kridanti. So there is a little bit different here. Karoti changes to kurvanti. So krinati, there is a typo here. It should be krinanti, not krinanti. Krinanti. They never go away, right? Typos. Krinati, krinanti. And then asti, santi. Like this. These are like, look, different pattern. Not like aneti, aneti. Asti become not we are not saying ti to anti here. Asti, ansti, not like that. So this becomes santi. So why does this happen? I mean, talking grammatically, why does this happen? I mean, it happens because they are like that, and that is their nature. That is their linguistic nature. In the language, that is how they are used. But the grammatically explaining them, why they are like that, because they fall into different groups. Like if you remember our Kriyapada Parichaya class, the dhatus are also divided into 10 different groups. Dhatus, which are the root words of the verbs, which are in the first column here. They are also grouped into 10 different categories. And so 1, 4, 6, 10. Number 1, 4, 6, 10. Group number 1, group number 4, group number 6, group number 10. They have the names, but so right now to keep it simple, we'll just refer to them as with the numbers. Group number 1, 4, 6, 10. They follow simple pattern like anayati, anayanti, aheti, avayanti, ichchati, icchanti. These are. Now those which do not fall, the dhatus which do not fall in these 4 groups, they follow some different pattern. Not all of them follow same pattern there. They follow their own individual pattern. Like asti is in group number 2. This as dhatu is in group number 2. So it has its different form, like asti, santi. And karoti, kru dhatu, this is in group number 8. So this they follow a different pattern. Karoti becomes kurvanti, etc. And then kri dhatu, which is in group number 9. So they follow a different pattern. Krinati, krinanti. So that we should remember. So remember means what we should know is all the dhatus, all the forms in Sanskrit Bhasha of Kriyapadas, they don't follow the same pattern. So 1, 4, 6, 10, if we know the ganas, what group it falls, dhatu, in which group it falls, we can only look up in the dhatu dictionary, dhatu kosha, then we can find out. And then 1, 4, 6, 10, they follow a similar pattern. There are slight differences, but similar pattern. But if it is a different pattern, then we know that it doesn't belong to that 1, 4, 6, 10. It is some other group. And why are we looking at those groups here at this level 1? Most of the dhatus or most of the kriyapadas we are trying to study, we are trying to stick to these forms only, these patterns. So it is easy to remember, easy to use. However, some of them like asti, it is very widely used, right? Asti, we need it everywhere. Asti and santi also, we need it everywhere. And then karoti also, we need it. Somebody is doing, just if you want to say doing, karoti, that also we need. So at least we need to know these forms, even though they belong to some other groups of the dhatus, not 1, 4, 6, 10. But since they are very widely used and very useful in conversation or in usage or in reading also, if you are reading something, these are very commonly used kriyapadas. So that is why, even though they don't follow this pattern, simple pattern, so then still then it is better to know those forms. Karoti, kurvanti. Similarly in the Uttama Purusha also we know here. Karomi is there, it becomes kurmaha. Whereas if you see the simple ones, it is just kridami, kridamaha. We know that. Patami, patamaha. But here it is not karomi, karamaha, not like that. It's the karomi, kurmaha. Here it is krinami, krinimaha. Maybe I think if I add one more column of dhatu gana, that might be helpful, I think, for those who know dhatu ganas, about dhatu ganas. Okay, so now krinati, like that. We know. Do we know any other verb like krinati? Yeah, I think we know, which is like grihannati. Many of you might have heard grihannati. What is grihannati? I'll just write it like this: grihannati, which can be this hana can be also written like this. It's a sanyukta akshara. Some people write like this. That's fine. Grihannati, grihnati. Grihnati means, what is the meaning? Takes. Right? Balakaha pustakam grihnati means he takes the book, or he.
Also speaks, is it? Svikaroti also means takes, is it?
Svikaroti, yeah. Yes. Svi. If you add svi, then karoti together means takes or accepts, takes. Svikaroti. So this is the same meaning. Grihnati takes. It is also used sometimes in the sense of picks. Balaka pustakam grihnati. Some book is on the table. So if somebody picks it up, so you can say, it is like taking only. So balaka pustakam grihnati. So that is also like krinati. Like you see that na is in between there. Krinati, grihnati. So like krinati becomes krinanti. Let me see. Can I edit it here? Yeah, I think edit. Okay. Krinati, krinanti. So grihnati becomes
Grihnanti.
So that nanti remains same there. Like graha is there. This graha remains, and this nati changes to nanti. Grihnanti. Okay. And same thing we have krinami. So that changes to grihnami. Krinimaha. Grihnimaha. So coming to lot lakara here, lot lakara example, so which is in this column M, ekavachanam. So anayato in row number 7, bahuvachanam becomes anayantu, like patatu, pathantu. Now karoto, which is shown here, actually not added column, another column. In future you can add. Karotu becomes kurvantu. Krinatu, krinantu. Grihnatu, grihnantu. Like that. Ekavachanam, bhavachanam. But these forms, this table is not like a very extensive table. Some examples, some just for the reference which are given here, and for some quick reference. But basically, if you want more details or more examples, you can refer to other sources like Dhatu Kosha. But another one I found here, which was like suggested, ashtadhyayi.com, right? If you go to here, astadhyay.com site, astadhyay.com. So at the bottom you see Dhatu Patha. So in Dhatu Patha you click here. And now here all the list of all the dhatus are given first here. In the order how they appear in the something called Dhatu Patha. Panini has compiled a list of dhatus of Sanskrit which appear in Sanskrit language. Dhatus, root words. He has compiled, collected. He has not created them, collected them. So there are about 1950 to 2000 dhatus are there in that collection. So they are in a certain order. Obviously they are arranged, they are all categorized by Gana, starting from Gana number 1. Gana means group number 1 to group number 10. So as you see here, 1. Here the first number, which is in Devanagari, letter 1 here. So 1 indicates Gana number, group number. And this is the number, serial number of the dhatu. So Gana 1, serial number 1, Gana 1, serial number 2, etc. Like this, they are arranged. They are not alphabetical like that. However, so in this is also helpful. So if you click on Bhu, so you see all the forms here, like Bhavati, Bhavatya, Bhavanti, etc. This is Vartamana, Lat Lakara forms. And then if you scroll down, there is Lot Lakara form. So Bhavatu, Bhavatam, Bhavantu, Bhava, Bhavatam, Bhavata, Bhavani, Bhavava, Bhavama. So the entire, all the 10 Lakara forms are there, which is very helpful. Additionally, this search is also very helpful. Now, if you know this type Patatu, for example, so you just type Patatu here. So then it will directly, you don't need to search by Dhatu. If you know the final form also, it may be even in the Bahuvachana form, it could be in the Madhyama Purusha, any form, if you type here, like say if I say Patatu, that will show Pat Dhatu also here, and in Lot Lakara it is, Lot Lakara. So if I click here, it will directly take you there. It will just show that table, Patatu, Patatam, Patantu, Pata, Patatam, Patata, Patani, Patava, Patan. This is very helpful. So search. And also it shows the meaning of the dhatu also. Patha, as in to learn, to read, to study, to recite. Any question? No question? Note that, just want to add another thing here. Some of you may be having, what is this Patatat? Anybody has any question like this in their mind? What is this Patatat? We know Patatu, but what is Patatat? No one has a question or doubt?
Is it a second way of saying Patata?
Huh?
Is it an optional?
It is passive voice. Patatu is active voice. Patatat is passive voice.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking, did this question occur to anybody? I'm not expecting the answer.
Yes, I have a question. I wanted to know whether we could say Patatu or Patatat.
Yeah. If there is a question, please ask it. So, Patatat is alternative form for Patatu. It is not passive voice. It is in the active voice only. Still we are studying in the active voice. Patatu, Patatat, these are alternative forms. And even Patha and Patatat is alternative forms. However, this patatat form is very specific to a certain sense. Now, patatu, these forms, which is lot lakara forms, in what sense they are used? That we just studied, ajna, prarthana, right, and ichha, wish. Ajna, order, prarthana, request, and ichha, wish. In that sense it is used. So in all those senses we can use patatu, patatam, patantu, patha, patatam, patata, patani, patha, pathamu we can use. But this patatat alternate form for both prathama purusha and madhyama purusha, they can be used only in a certain sense. And what is that sense? That is wish only. Wish only. Ashihi. In Sanskritam it is ashihi. Ashihi is not a blessing. It is a wish. Asha means wishing, right? Ashihi. If any of you remember the lakaras that we just looked in the Kriyapada class, one of them was Ashirling. There was a lakara called Ashirling.
For wishing.
Yeah. There was a lakara called Ashirling. This Ashirling lakara forms, they are used when, in the sense of wish. And the Ashirling lakara forms, they also have this 3x3 matrix, 3x3 table like this. Like lat lakara, lot lakara has 3x3, lot lakara has 3x3. Similarly, Ashirling also has its 3x3 form. So, in Ashirling, when it is used, when we want to wish that action happens, and that wish has to be okay. Let's keep it simple now. Wish, for example, I wish somebody would read this. A boy would read a book. A boy would read a Ramayana book or Bhagavad Gita book, something like that. I'm wishing. So then I can use, like, for example, pathyat is, that should be here, right, in this table somewhere. You see an Ashirling lakar, yeah, pathyat. You see Ashirling also has this 3x3 matrix. Pathyat, pathyastam, pathyasuhu, pathyaha, pathyastam, pathyasta, pathyasam, pathyasa, pathyas. When I say balakaha pustakam pathyat, means I wish balaka would read that book, like that. So these are generally, these are not in very common use. Now, why I am bringing this up? Because this patatat form in lot lakara is used in that sense only, in the Ashirling sense only. Because lot lakara has multiple connotations. It can, because ajna, prarthana and wish. Right? So in all those connotations, in all those connotations, or for all those connotations, this patatu, patatam, patantu can be used. That is fine. But if you are very particular about that wish, then patatat, alternative form, can be used. But if you are just requesting and ordering, then patatat is not used. Patatu, only patatu is used. But patatu has a general meaning. It can also mean wish also. But specifically for wish, there is patatat. And note that it is the same. It has the same form in both prathama purusha and madhyama purusha. Ekavachanam. And it is applicable to only prathama purusha, madhyama purusha, ekavachanam only. And this is true for any dhatu. If you take any dhatu, suppose if I go to like Karoti is like nayatu. Take nayatu. Lot lakara. Here there's alternate forms. Nayatat, nayatat. Nayatu, nayatu. Okay.
Hello. Did we lose the connection or is the session ended?
Yeah, he lost connection. He'll come back.
Okay.
Bhakti. I mean, what is vibhakti?
Sanjeev, I think we lost
We lost you for the last
we lost it for a moment. Yeah. Now you came back.
Oh, that's what I thought. I mean, something is happening with my computer. So my question, no, I don't know where I lost. So I was asking regarding that, what we discussed previously. Is there any question? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, yes.
So what is the so any question? If you do not have any question on what we discussed so far, on this, so you can move on to the next topic of Dvitiya Vibhakti, second case ending. So I was saying, hope everybody remembers what is a Vibhakti. My question was, what is a Vibhakti? Can anybody remember? Explain. Answer. What is a Vibhakti?
It's a case ending, like instead of using a preposition, the word itself is changed to incorporate the preposition. Is that correct?
Yeah. Vibhakti is a suffix. Basically, it is a pratyaya. The suffix in Sanskrit is called a pratyaya, Vibhakti. By adding a Vibhakti pratyaya to what is it added? To a base.
Noun.
Base of a noun base. To a noun base, pratipadikam. Noun base is called pratipadikam. So pratipadikam vibhakti pratyaya is added to make it, to change it to another different form or usable form of a noun, and that usable form of a noun is used in a sentence to indicate different roles, right, that a noun can play in a sentence. For example, we had that example here somewhere, right? Like this. I think there is another table somewhere. Yeah, this one. So you see here Prathama Vibhakti. If the word is in Prathama Vibhakti, Balakah, in this example here, Udaharanam. So when you say Balakah Granthalaye Syutat Lekakasya Pustakam Hastena Mitraya Dadati. It's a long sentence. What it means is Balakah, the boy. The Kriyapadam is Dadati, gives. The boy gives. So who is doing the action is indicated by adding the Prathama Vibhakti pratyaya on the Pratipadikam. The Pratipadikam or the noun base here is Balaka. Balaka is the noun base. So the Pratama Vibhakti Pratyaya we add comes as a Visarga. So the final form, usable form, Pratama Vibhakti form of the base Balaka is Balakaha, with the Visarga at the end. So use that. When we use that, it usually means it is a subject word or Kartrupadam, which is indicated here. Kartrupadam means that word, the object indicated by that word is doing that action. Action which is indicated by the Kriyapadam. Here the Dadati gives. So Kaha Dadati, if you ask a question, we get Balakaha. Similarly, different vibhaktis are there, which are basically, the names are given here, Prathama Aditya, which are numbers, first, second, third, etc. Prathama Aditya, Tritiya, meaning first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And each one, when they are added, they change the noun base into a final usable form, and that final usable form used in a sentence in a certain context. So it can be Kartrupadam, it can be Karmapadam, etc. So on. So we looked at Prathama Vibhakti, we looked at Shashti Vibhakti. So Lekhakasya, Kandukasya, Jalasya, etc. We looked at the Shashti Vibhakti forms also. Now we can probably move in sequence because we covered these two vibhaktis. Prathama, which is very much needed because we need to know who is doing the action. Balakaha dadati, Balakaha khadati, Balakaha patati. Shashti Vibhakti indicating the relationship mostly between the two nouns. Right? So here Lekhakasya Pustakam. Whose Pustaka? Kasya Pustakam asti, Lekhakasya Pustakam. Like that. Shashti Vibhakti form indicates the relationship between two nouns, Lekhaka and Pustakam. Lekhaka is the writer, Pustaka book. Between the two, what is the relationship? The Pustaka is owned by or belongs to the Lekhaka, writer. So that is indicated by the possessive or the relationship. That relationship is indicated by adding the Shashti Vibhakti, which changes it to Lekhakasya. And different Shashti Vibhakti forms we have seen, like Akaranta Strilinga, if it is like Rama. What is the Shashti Vibhakti of Rama? This is Strilinga, Akaranta Shabda. So if the book belongs to Rama, how do we say?
Ramayaha.
Ramayaha. Ramayaha Pustakam. Then if it is like a Nartaki,
Nartakyaha.
Nartak
Yaha.
Kyaha. Nartaki, Dirgha Ikaranta, Strilinga Shabda, Nartaki, like Bhavati. Like Bhavati was there, like Bhavati, Bhavati means you, the Strilingam. So Bhavati becomes Bhavatyaha. Bhavatyaha nama kim atva Bhavatyaha gruham kutra asti. So now Dvitiya, the second Vibhakti, Pratyaya, in what context it is added, in what sense it is added. So if we look at some examples, we will know. The first one. Who wants to read? Who wants to read this? Mangala Bhagini.
आं महोदय सः बालकः
सः स्यूतः बालकः किं नयति बालकः स्यूतं नयति
So what is happening? Yeah, 1 second. So, Dhanyawad. Then this one in the first part here, Saha Balakah Saha Syutah. There are two things here, right? Saha Balakah, and we are saying Saha Syutah. Because Syutah, the bag, Syutah word is a pullinga word, so we are using Saha Syutah. Now the question could be Kasya Syutah. Kasya Syutah, if we ask the question, what is the answer?
His bag.
Sanskritena. Kasya Syutah?
Balakasya Syutah.
Balakasya. No, okay.
No, fine. You can answer. Balakasya Syutah.
Balakasya Syutah.
Balakasya, because there is a Balaka and there is Syuta, and the Syuta belongs to Balaka. So Balaka turns into Shashti Bhakti form, which is Balakasya Syutah. Now the action is given here. Nayati, he is carrying it. He is carrying. Balakaha Nayati is the base sentence. Balakaha Nayati. These kind of sentences we already studied, like Balaka Nayati, Balaka Khadati, Balaka Pashyati, Balika Gacchati, etc. But now additionally we can ask a question, Kim Nayati, like here. So we basic sentence we know, like Balaka Nayati, Balaka carries. Now the Balaka Nayati is a natural cause, is he carrying? Or what does he carry? He means Balaka. Now the question is, answer is Balakaha Syutam Nayati. Now the Syutam is in the Dvitiya Vibhakti form. Dvitiya Vibhakti Pratyaya is added to this, and that form is used to answer the question of Kim. This question comes on the Kriyapada. Kriyapada means action. Nayati. Kim Nayati. What is he carrying? Suppose it is Pashyati. Pashyati is there. Yeah, there is an example here. The third one. Yeah. Can you read the third one also?
Sa Balika. Sa Duravani.
So here both are Strilinga. Balika is Strilinga, Duravani is Strilinga. Sa Balika, Sa Duravani. So if you want to use Shashti Bhakti, what will be the question? Whose Duravani, whose phone it is? What is the question in Sanskritam?
Ka
Shashti Bhakti of Ka. What is the Shashti Bhakti of Ka?
Kasyaha.
Uttamam. Kasyaha Duravani.
Kasyaha Duravani.
Whose Duravani? Because Balika is the answer we want, that we know it is a Strilinga, so we use Kasyaha Duravani. So it is, answer is, in Shashti Bhakti, what is that?
Balikayaha Duravani.
Balikayaha Duravani. Uttam. Now, we have the basic sentence here, Balika Pashyati. Balika, what is she doing? Balika Kim Karoti. Now, question is, Balika Kim Karoti? Answer is, Balika Pashyati. She is looking. Now, on that Pashyati, on this Kriyapadam, on that action, there is a question here. Balika Kim Pashyati?
What is she?
Kim means what, right? So we have the question, Balika Kim Pashyati? What does she look at? What is she looking at? Balika Kim Pashyati? Now the answer is Balika
Duravani Pashyati.
Duravani Pashyati. So note that again, this Duravani, in the Prathama Vibhakti it is Duravani. Sa Duravani Asti. So there we are using the Prathama Vibhakti form of Duravani, like Nadi, Dirgha Ikaranta. And in Ditya Vibhakti, it becomes Duravanim. Ditya Vibhakti form becomes Duravanim. Ditya Vibhakti Rupam becomes Duravanim. Balika Duravanim Pashyati. So same thing it has happened here. In Prathama Vibhakti form, Prathama Vibhakti Rupam Bhavati Saha Syutaha Asti. Tasya eva Ditya Vibhakti Rupam. The second Vibhakti, Ditya Vibhakti form of Syutaha is Syutam. So we are adding just Anuswara here. Or Ma Syutam.
Mahodaya, I mute. Children are playing here.
Yeah, you can. So, Balaka Syutam Nayati. Then another example we have. Anybody else? Second one.
Nalini. Nalini.
Sa Nalini.
Nalini. Sa Dvi Cha Tri Ka.
Yeah, Sa Dvichakrika. Means it is a two-wheeler. Dvi means two, Chakrika is a wheeler. So Dvichakrika, so two-wheeler or a bicycle. Sa Nalini asti, Sa Dvichakrika asti. So what is the question here? Sa Nalini Dvichakrika. Question here is Kasyaha Dvichakrika. Whose bicycle it is? Kasyaha Dvichakrika. So if that is a question, what will be the answer? If you want to say Nalini's bicycle or bicycle of Nalini. So how do we say that?
Kasya Chatrika Nalini.
Now how do you say of Nalini or Nalini's?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Nalinyaha, like Nadyaha, Bhavatyaha. Nalinyaha Dvichakrika. Nalinyaha Dvichakrika asti. Nalini kim karoti?
Nalini chalati.
So she is just riding the bike. So Nalini chalayati. Chalayati. She is driving it. Riding is actually driving. Chalayati. Nalini chalayati. She is driving the bike. Now what is she driving? Kim chalayati? Dvichakrikam chalayati. Simple. So this is a Prathama Vibhakti Rupam. This is Ditya Vibhakti Rupam of those respective words, nouns. So I have a few more examples here, like Saha Ashoka. Okay, like somebody can quickly read. Just read these, and I'll go back to the other slide. Yeah. Anybody? Anita, you want to read?
Saha Ashokaha tat bhojanam. Ashokaha kim khadati. Ashokaha bhojanam khadati.
Okay, so here, so previously in the previous examples here, we looked at the Syutaha being a Pullingam word, and its Ditya Vibhakti form is Syutam. And Dvichakrika is the what kind of word? What is the lingam?
Strilinga.
Akaranta Strilinga Shabdaha, Dvichakrika. It's also as the Ditya Vibhakti Rupam asti, Dvichakrikam. Then the next example we have Dirgha Ikaranta Strilinga Shabdaha, Duravani. Its Ditya Vibhakti form is Duravanim. So basically you know that, you see that we are adding the, for the base word we are adding the ma. Anuswara ma we already discussed, I think, where it is Anuswara, where it is not. So basically we are writing ma there. So the Chakrikam, right? The Chakrikam, or here Syutam, because the base word here is Syuta. Pratipadikam asti Syuta, like Rama, Balaka. This Akaranta Pullinga word, Syuta. So Syutam, Syuta base word, Ditya Vakti is Syutam. The Chakrika base word, Pratipadikam, the Chakrikam is the, we are adding ma here. Similarly, the Duravani is the base word, Duravanim, ma, adding ma is the Ditya Vakti. So in the next example, takes up the Napumsakalinga form. Bhojanam. It is Napumsakalinga padam. Bhojanam. And it's Ditya. Here it is Prathamaya Bhakti. Tat Bhojanam Asti. Like Tat Jalam Asti, like that. So what is the Ditya Bhakti form? It is the same form, no change. Ashokaha Bhojanam Khadati. Saha Ashokaha Tat Bhojanam. Ashokaha Kim Karoti.
Ashokaha bhojanam khadati.
Ashoka Kim Karoti, Ashoka Khadati. The answer to Ashoka Kim Karoti is Ashoka Khadati. Now, on that again, the additional question, next question is Ashoka Kim Khadati. What is he eating? Then Ashoka Bhojanam Khadati. So here, this is a Ditya Bhakti. Note that this is the forms are same in the for the Napumsakalinga words. Prathamaya Bhakti and Ditya Bhakti forms are same. Bhojanam, Bhojanam. But how do we know whether it is a Prathamaya Bhakti form or Ditya Bhakti form? By looking at the sentence in the context. In what role it is coming in the sentence. Saha Ashokaha Tat Bhojanam Asti. So if it is that only that much, so we know that it is a Prathamaya Bhakti form.
So
Now
Prathamaya Bhakti, you said it's the doer, I don't know, how do you call the doer?
Yeah, Kartrupadam.
Kartrupadam, and for Dvitiya Vibhakti, it's called?
Karmapadam.
Karmapadam. On what is the action done, right? On
yeah.
what?
Right. On what the action is happening. Ashoka Bhojanam Khadati. So the next also you can read.
Okay. Saha Kapilaha Tat Peyam. Kapilaha Kim Pibati. Kapilaha Peyam Pibati.
So here also Peyam, what is the lingam of Peyam?
Napumsakalinga.
Tat Peyam. So same, it means same. Tat Kapilaha Peyam Pibati. Okay, next.
Saha Balakaha Tat Pustakam.
Hold on.
Saha Balakaha Tat Pustakam. Balakaha Kim Patati. Balakaha Pustakam Patati.
Saha Balaka Tat Pustakam Napumsakalinga Shabdaha. Balakaha Balakasya Pustakam. Balakaha Kim Karoti.
Balakaha Patati.
Balakaha Kim Patati. Balakaha Pustakam Patati.
Okay.
So, look at this one here. Ditya Bhakti, the word which is coming in the Ditya Bhakti form on which the action is happening, it is called Karma Padam. Karma Padam. So, the role of that word is that of an object. In English grammar, I think it is called object. Here it is called Karma Padam, on which the action is happening. So if the sentence is like Saha Chalati, suppose that is a sentence. We have sentence Saha or Balaka. Saha Chalati. So can there be a karma padam in this, or the word with the Ditya Vakti? Can we ask the question, Saha kim chalati?
No.
What is the meaning of Saha chalati?
He walks.
He walks.
Unless
So,
we say he walks his dog, then we can say. I don't know.
No, he walks.
Yeah. Okay.
He himself is walking. That is chalati.
Mm-hmm.
Not he is walking the dog. That is a chalayati. So he walks. Saha chalati. He himself is walking. So there is no sense in asking the question like Saha kim chalati in Sanskritam. Forget that in English. Saha kim chalati. Means he himself is walking. So there is absolutely no sense in asking what is he walking in English. Sorry, in Sanskritam. So that means there is no karma padam applicable in such a kriya padam, right? If like a kriya padam chalati, for example, hasati or dhavati is there. So dhavati is running. Somebody is running. Like balika dhavati is there. We have seen before. Balika dhavati. So here also there is no. It doesn't make any sense to ask the question like kim dhavati. She is running. That's it. Action is not happening on anything. Sadhavati. So on some kriya padam, it makes sense to have a karma padam, and on some kriya padam, it doesn't make sense to have a kriya padam. Okay? And where it is not applicable. So as you see here, I used something called akarmaka and sakarmaka here. So in English, I think they're called, what is they called? Transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. The transitive verbs, they expect an object or the karma padam. Intransitive ones, they do not, they do not require, or the karma padam is not applicable there. In Sanskritam, they are called sakarmaka kriyapadam and akarmaka kriyapadam. Actually, dhatus are akarmaka and sakarmaka, the root words here. So sakarmaka dhatus and akarmaka dhatus. The sakarmaka means with sa indicates needing or with. Sa means with. Saha means with. Saha or sakarmakaha means with the karma padam. Akarmakaha means no karma padam. So they can be grouped into these two types also, sakarmaka and akarmaka. So for example here, patati. Patati is what kind it is? Is it sakarmaka or akarmaka? So if you ask the question, kim patati, what is he reading? If there is an answer possible, then it is a sakarmaka kriyapada. Kim patati, is it a sakarmaka or akarmaka?
Sakarmaka.
Sakarmaka. Like the next one is pruchhati, asks, questions, asks. So pruchhati, is that a sakarmaka or akarmaka?
Sakarmaka.
Sakarmaka. Prashnam pruchhati, or samshayam pruchhati. Samshaya means doubt. Prashnam pruchhati. Then likhati, writes or draws. So is it sakarmaka or karmaka? Balakaha likhati. Sakarmaka. Because what is there could be a kriya padam, karma padam. Example, in the sentence, what is the example? Balakaha likhati. Balakah kim likhati? Suppose there is a chitra. Chitra is a picture, or a photo or a picture. So this one we can put it in the Ditya Vibhakti form, because karma padams are to be put in the Ditya Vibhakti form. So chitra is a Napunsakalinga word, like phala. Base word is chitra, phala, jala, like that. So what is the Ditya Vibhakti form of chitra?
Chitram.
Chitram. Pratama Vibhakti, Ditya Vibhakti is same for all the Napunsakalinga words, all the time, everywhere. Chitram. Balaka chitram likhati. Similarly, we saw the examples with pashyati, we saw already. Hasati, man is just laughing. So it is a akarmaka.
So likhati is like drawing also, is it? Or only writing?
Yeah, everything. Anything which is like a scratching is likhati.
Okay.
Then pashyati we saw. Then pruchati we saw. Chalayati we saw. Chalati is akarmaka. Then patati. This is actually patati. We'll see. First we'll say gacchati. Gacchati. What is gacchati? Gacchati meaning you all know.
Raving.
Balaka gacchati. The question comes, sakarmaka or akarmaka?
Akarmaka.
So now, but in Sanskritam it is not akarmaka, it is sakarmaka, because the gacchati we should think it the meaning as a reaching, not just going. It's actually reaching. Balakaha shalam gacchati means actually he is reaching the school. That is the actual meaning there. So when it means that means there is a destination there, destination of reaching. So that destination where is reaching is the karma padam. There. So balakaha shalam patashalam gacchati, like that you can. Balaka graham gacchati. Graham is napunsakalingam again, we know. Graham napunsakalingam, so graham remains graham. Then patashala akaranta strilinga shala become shalam, which was shown here before, right? Dichakrikam, like that. So agacchati is also same. Agacchati is coming, somebody is coming, balaka agacchati. So that is also, he is reaching after walking, he is reaching. So that whole thing indicates gacchati, walking and reaching, going and reaching. The whole thing is indicated by the gacchati kriya padam. So it has a karma padam. Similarly, agacchati also is coming and reaching. So that is also has the karma padam. So kutra agacchati, graham agacchati, something. Now chalati we saw it has no karma padam. So chalati just walks. Bhavati no karma padam. Nayati. For example, sakarmak. Nayati carries. Nayati. Purusha. Here it is like somebody is carrying the fruit. So you can say phalam nayati. Pibati we saw already. Khadati we saw. Marjayati. Marjayati we saw last time. What is marjayati? Wiping. So there are some question like, is wipe or clean? It's a wipe. You can say wipe, wiping it clean. You can combine it. Marjayati means wiping it clean. So marjayati. So from this only we have the word called sammarjani, right? One of the words, very introductory words. We saw one of them was sammarjani. Sammarjani means what? The broom, one which clean with what we clean the house or the floor. That is broom, sammarjani. So with this word only, the sammarjani word has being derived. So marjayati. So is it sakarmaka or akarmaka?
Sakarmaka.
Sakarmaka. Kimapi vatayanam marjayati. He wipes the window clean. That's vatayanam marjayati. Now, couple of things here. Now, other things might be clear when you, like ichhati. Ichhati means I wish. That is also sakarmaka. Like chorayati, steals sakarmaka. Chintayati, thinks sakarmaka. Nrutyati, akarmaka. Karoti, kim karoti, that is sakarmaka. Karyam karoti, something. Lekhanam karoti, bhashanam karoti, sakarmaka. So you know that. Now, some of the words which do not exactly translate properly to English equivalent of usage could be confusing, like one happened with the gachati. Like similarly, here say kridati. What is the meaning of kridati?
To buy.
Play. So in the vakya udaharanam katham, vakya katham udaharanam, like how does it example in the sentence kridati? Simple example what we have seen so far without karma padam.
Balakah kandukam kridati.
No, without karma padam, what we have seen so far. Balakah kridati, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Balakah kridati. Now the question comes here, if we think it like play, then if we think that in English like play, then normally the karma padam will be coming there. What is he playing? That is how we ask in English language. So, but here Sanskritam kridati is akarmaka. Kridati is akarmaka. There is no karma padam. The kridati here just means. Okay. Minutes. I'm going to mute. Okay, we have to wrap up now. So kridati in Sanskritam it is akarmaka, kriyapadam, and we have to think it as the boy is playful or he enjoys, something like that. He is not, and we should not think it in the English equivalent like boy is playing cricket or boy is playing football, boy is playing something, like not like that. Here it is different. In English also you can think like that, like boy is playing with the ball, with a ball or with the ball. Boy is playing with something. So that can be added here. So then it is not a karma padam, then it is not an object. Right? So here, how do we use? Balakaha kridati. Balakaha, then we have to use that with, that sense. So where the with comes, that comes in the, with what he is playing, that comes in the tritiya bhakti, tritiya, third bhakti. So that you can see next week, but you can see already here, hastena, like the tritiya. So if it is a kanduka, it becomes kandukena. Balakaha kandukena kridati. So we should not use the ditya bhakti rupam of with what they are, what the balaka, with what the play is happening. We should keep it like tritiya, or some other vibhaktis are also possible, but not the ditya vibhakti. Balakaha kandukam kridati, balakaha athava balika, balaka kim tat panchalikam kridati, etc. Those kridanakam kridati. So those karma pada ditya vibhakti forms are not applicable here. Same thing with khelati also. Khelati also means play. It is akarmaka. There is no, we are not going to use it as kandukam khelati. Kandukena khelati. So these few things you can.
So sakarmaka and akarmaka only for second case it is applicable, not for other cases, right?
Yeah, I mean, the question is not exactly correct. What are you trying to ask?
Okay, so I mean, when you say the root word is akarmaka or sakarmaka, meaning that only you cannot use the second case ending for those verbs. For that kriya padam, you can't use second case kartru padam, or is that what you are saying?
Yes, yes. For these, if the kriya padam is sakarmaka, then we can use another nama padam, different nama padam, with in the second case, in the Ditya Vibhakti form. Okay. If the dhatu is akarmaka, then there could be a nama padam with the Ditya Vibhakti form. Karma padam, that is called karma padam. Right? That other nama padam is called karma padam. Like balaka pustakam patati. Patati is a kriya padam, which is a sakarmaka dhatu. It has sakarmaka dhatu, pata. Then it expects karma padam, and that karma padam is a nama padam in Ditya Vibhakti form. Okay, we can stop here. Dhanyawada. Namaskara.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.